Hey, what's up, folks? electricDocs TV, and welcome to The Breakdown, the show where we break it down, right? We get the docs out here, we've got different guests coming in. We'll be doing this as frequently as we like, because it's our bloody channel, right? But we'll be breaking down a number of different things.
We do what we want.
Absolutely, mate. You're probably wondering why we're wearing yellow. Well, some of you may know we're in March 2020. It's Endometriosis Awareness Month, as well as being International Women's Month. But endometriosis is one of those topics that are very dear to our hearts. It's one of the key things we spend a lot of time working on and discussing as a company, as an organization. And we wanted to take this time out during this month to have a conversation about it because, you know, one of the problems with endometriosis, of course, is that it's not discussed enough. So I'm here, Mr. Breaks here with Dr. Amsu of the electricDocs. And hey, let's kick it off, man. So Dr. Amsu, what's good?
I'm good.
Okay.
You know, rocking the yellow, you know what I'm saying?
That's right, right.
I mean,
in solidarity.
Let's do this.
Absolutely. So listen, let's jump into this. So Dr. Amsu, what is endometriosis?
Endometriosis is a chronic inflammatory condition, and it represents like 30 to 40% of all reproductive inflammatory diseases.
Right.
It's a terrible condition. It leaves women debilitated with pain. It's basically a condition where the endometrium, which is the lining, right, of the uterus, is deposited or found or grows outside in places outside of the uterus.
Right.
So it causes bleeding, what we call lesions, which is solid raised skin or tissue, causes implants. Implants are basically wherever you find the endometrial tissue outside or it's called ectopic because outside of the uterus. And also adhesions. Adhesions are basically like scar tissue. So there's different stages of endometriosis depending on the severity of those three main. There are other things like pyometra, which is a condition where there's an infection and you get balls of pus, and you know, really unpleasant smells and more pain. You know, it's the number one leading cause of cervical pain.
Right.
And you know, it's a terrible disease that doesn't get a lot of attention or the attention that it actually needs because it takes like 7 to 10 years to actually diagnose this disease. And especially with black women. Now here's the issue with black women. Black women are often told when they go and they have debilitating pain and they're bleeding heavily, because that's another symptom, is heavy bleeding, right? They're told it's just a bad period. It's just a bad menses. So, you know, take the pill. You know, they're given the pill to regulate their cycle and to also calm down the dull symptoms, you know, manage symptoms and that, and are sent off into the world.
So let's talk about a couple of things here. Can you touch on a couple of key points? Now, you know, we've obviously had conversations about endometriosis offline, and that, you know, we speak to a lot of women, and a lot of women that I know personally, and one of the key things is the pain, right? And from what I understand, of all the conditions we look at, endometriosis is the one where women end up in hospital. Right, frequently they have frequent episodes. Why is the pain so bad with endometriosis?
Again, you know, you're dealing with chronic inflammation. You know, inflammation. There's an inflammatory response where you have white blood cells or leukocytes that will find tissue or whatever and see it as a foreign body, and then basically a war ensues where there's all kinds of chemicals being released, and it causes swelling. That swelling may cause one organ to compromise another organ. Can be on bones or whatever. So with inflammation, there's a term that we call dolor, which is pain.
Dolor.
Or dolor, depending on, you know, which side of the water you come from. You know what I mean? But you know, pain, you got pain and swelling, redness, you know, but this is the main thing. What inflammation causes is pain.
Pain, right.
And because there's inflammation associated anyway with menses, which it's not supposed to be. You know, all periods are supposed to be happy periods where it's just spotting for a few days, 2 or 3 days, and then, you know, no pain at all. What's happening is because so many women are experiencing pain
during the menstrual cycle, it's
longer cycles, more bleeding, it's become normal. It's a normal situation where it's like, rather than looking at, well, no, this is not natural, let's work out a way to actually remedy the situation. It's like, here's the magic pill.
Right, of course. And just going back to something else you said as well about the length of time it takes to diagnose. So you've got a lot of young women who are experiencing the conditions, experiencing the symptoms, the pain, the cramping, and they're sort of this, you know, they're letting it go, saying, well, it's just regular cramping because you're on your, you know, menstrual cycle. Meanwhile, it's early stages of endometriosis. Then they're not catching this until they're what, late teens? When are they?
No. I mean, throughout teens, you're left alone. You know, and another thing is, it costs money for the diagnosis, for the actual to get the equipment, the facility to actually do a diagnosis. It costs money.
Sure.
So here's another problem: lower income,
they're being
people
led away
can't afford the diagnosis.
Right.
So, you know, they're going through life bearing the pain, taking painkillers. You know, how many women do you know when they're on their days? It's like Advil or
even if it's aspirin, ibuprofen,
like
exactly.
Whatever painkiller they can get their hand, Motrin, whatever, they're reaching out and grabbing it, which again, it's not dealing with the actual root cause.
Not at all. It's masking a symptom.
Masking a symptom. So that
and then creating an addiction to that as well, potentially.
And because think about it, you got sisters, you got daughters, whatever, right? You got people have cousins, nieces, whatever. They see their aunties or their mum or their older sisters, whatever, going through the same kind of pain. So they're like, well, this is just part of the period.
Right. My auntie had it, my mum had it, so it's just something you have to do. It's hereditary.
They don't know that they got endometriosis until early 30s.
Right.
You know, early to late 30s. Some you know, persistent women who may be well-to-do can get an earlier diagnosis. But again, you're looking at about 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things is that when it comes to endometriosis according to race, they say that black women suffer less with endometriosis than white women. But no, that's not the case. Right? You know, that's the de jure stats. But de facto is that no, black women actually
aren't being diagnosed.
That's the problem. Underdiagnosed.
The stats are coming from the wrong
place. Because it takes so long, they can't afford it.
Right.
You know, and when they do say they have pain, as you know, when black people say they got pain or whatever,
higher pain threshold than
we believe that we have a higher pain threshold or something like that.
The pain is disregarded.
You know, it's just a bad period.
Yeah. So let's sort of look at this. So treatments. What are the typical treatments they're giving or they're administering for people who they determine they have endometriosis?
I mean, it depends on where the endometrial tissue is found.
Right.
You know, there's laser treatments to remove, you know, the endometriosis. There's hysterectomy, which is basically one of the cure-alls.
Right.
Painkillers, the birth control pill.
Of course.
Birth control pill is probably the #1 remedy.
Yeah.
You know, got endometriosis, birth control. It's going to dull the symptoms and whatever. You know, endometriosis can be in your eyes, can be in the kidneys,
I did not know that.
Can be on bones, can even get to the brain, cerebral endometriosis.
Wow.
So on the brain, you can imagine the damage, the pain, and here's the thing. Women who experience early menarche, basically the first time they have a period, there's 2 conditions which are in common with early menarche. It's migraines and endometriosis.
Right.
And the root cause for both is estrogen.
I was going to get onto that and asking about the root causes, right? Because a lot of questions we get, I'm sure a lot of the questions people watching this are going to have is, what are the root causes, right? We hear about the symptoms, we know what's going on monthly, the pain, and you know, people when we rush to hospital. Right. Is there something perhaps that we're doing, that the women are doing, that they can avoid? Is it what are the root causes really? Let's get to that of
you know,
endometriosis.
we're talking about lifestyle.
Right.
So with the lifestyle, it's your diet, it's how you exercise, how you sleep, how you operate on a daily basis. Are you sedentary? Are you sitting down most of the time? Are you moving around? Are you burning calories? Or are you just in one spot, sitting down, you're at your job, whatever. Most people wake up, then they go to the toilet, they're sitting down at the toilet, then they get up, they shower, then they walk maybe down some steps to get to their car, then they're sitting down in the car, then they drive to work.
Basically sedentary lifestyles. They're not doing enough, right? They're not moving.
Now,
sorry, just to cut you back, nutrition.
Right.
Nutrition is key. So there's a lot of people that believe they're eating clean, right?
Right.
So they may be a little bit sedentary, they tell you they've got 2 jobs, they're really busy, but they're not eating right? Right. Whereas, we're never going to suggest that if you're sedentary and you eat right, if you're okay, that you should always have movement. But what are we eating, African-American, black people, from an early age, women especially, that's contributing to...
Dairy. Dairy is one of the, even women who say, all right, I'm vegetarian. I've been vegetarian for years. Do you eat cheese? Yes. Do you eat pizza? Yes.
There you go.
Do you like ice cream? Yes. What flavor? All of them.
Chocolate's the best, right? I'm sure.
So you got the dairy situation. Then you got I don't care if it's corn-fed, if it's free range or whatever, any form of meat. And by any form of meat, I'm talking about fish as well, because you tell people
don't count fish,
meat,
right?
And it's like, well, I don't eat meat.
Yeah.
Well, that's fish. Well, the fish ain't meat. It's an
yes,
animal.
It is, right.
The flesh of an animal is meat. So, high in estrogen.
Wow.
Extremely high in estrogen. Then you have the healthy choice, so-called healthy choices, flax seeds.
Right.
Soy. A lot of people give up meat and then they move to soy as an alternative. Not only is soy highly estrogenic, it is also a goitrogen, which causes issues with the thyroid.
Right.
When you start having issues with the thyroid, goitrogens basically block iodine from getting to the thyroid gland. So it's a thyroid anti-nutrient factor, basically, which will then cause the thyroid gland to slow down. So now you're dealing with hypothyroid because it's not producing enough thyroid gland. And that's when women, and 75% of black women are obese. Not overweight, but obese.
75.
Due to thyroid gland slowing down. So thyroiditis or, hypothyroidism is more prevalent in women.
Right.
And it's because of the estrogen factor. So there's lifestyle, makeup. There's aside from what you eat. Yeah. So we talk about what's ingested.
I was going to move on to that. Environmental
pollutants, petrochemicals,
right.
Vaseline. Cocoa butter. That
plastic,
is basically
plastic lined
petrochemical
right,
with some flavor enhancers in it to make it smell like cocoa butter.
Right.
Makeups, phthalates.
Yes.
Phthalates, which in makeup and in shampoos, conditioners. Then we have in hair relaxers. The list goes on.
Right. So you put all of those together, right?
What we call xenoestrogens.
Yeah.
These are estrogens that are outside of the body that we ingest somehow. Then diet is other xenoestrogens as well. So
right.
The list goes on and on and on.
So again, look, we're talking about endometriosis. It's Endometriosis Awareness Month, but really we are aware of endometriosis every single day. And now we sometimes get frustrated that we have to wait for a special day or a month to have these conversations. This is a conversation that needs to be had every single day. This is just a short video. We want to, put the message out there to raise awareness about endometriosis and we want to start the conversation. We'll spin up some hashtags, we'll get out there on social media. But listen, if you're watching this, we want you to join us in this conversation about endometriosis. And what's key to this is that women who suffer from endometriosis, who are not understood, who maybe don't have a platform to speak, who maybe choose not to speak because they're afraid of what? We're dealing with coronavirus now. I don't know when you're going to see this video in the future, in 2175, but in 2020 March, we're dealing with the coronavirus, and a lot of people who suspect they may have it are going to work. You know why? They need to get paid. And so the government's now come up with initiatives to try and compensate people for that. It's the same thing with endometriosis. Women I've spoken to said that, they'd rather not miss work if they may be on hourly paid jobs. They'll suffer through the pain or take the painkillers to get to work and not have that conversation because they don't want to take time from work. So I'm sure, you guys watching this can tell me a lot more about that.
There's another thing as well, like 30 to 40% of women who are infertile, who suffer from infertility, they have endometriosis.
Look at that.
So, and late stage, miscarriages is one of the symptoms that devastating,
Yes.
serious situation. Somebody wants to start a family and they can't have children, and they're afraid to get pregnant because of the mortality rate of infants with endometriosis is sky high.
Yeah.
And
how many of the women are going into becoming pregnant not knowing they have endometriosis? Or is it that the doctors know they have it and
that's usually the times when they find out.
It's when they're in late-term pregnancy.
Right.
Second or third trimester.
When they have a miscarriage, and it's like, this is the reason why. We found adhesions, we found implants.
Yeah.
So
listen, again, the conversation is about endometriosis. It's Endometriosis Awareness Month. I'm here with Dr. Amsu. You're watching electricDocs TV. This is The Breakdown, where we're breaking down all things that need to be broken down, because there's a lot of things out there, a lot of misconceptions, a lot of mistruths. But more importantly, there's so many things that just aren't discussed. Men's health, women's health. The focus today, of course, is women's health. But, we want to carry on these conversations across the board. So listen, by all means, leave comments. Send us your emails. Help me at electricDocs.com. If it's on a YouTube, of course, you can leave comments in the comment section of this. We're on Instagram, the electricDocs on Instagram, so you can leave messages and comments in the DM there if you don't ask if you want to ask maybe an anonymous question. But again, listen, thanks guys for watching. We're going to be chopping this up. We're going to have more videos coming out. Stay tuned to electricDocs TV and take charge of your lives. In fact, before we go, Dr. Amsu, say bye to your friends, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Just look. Take charge of your lives. We are serious. When we make that statement, take charge of your lives, we're not just saying that. It's actually, look, do your best. Do what you know is right and do best for yourselves. Plain and simple. It's that simple.
Yeah.
If you're not happy with your current state of affairs, change it by taking charge. Stay in control.
All right, folks, electricDocs TV, it's The Breakdown. Hey, what's up, folks? electricDocs TV, and you're watching The Breakdown. And I'm here, Mr. Breaks, with Dr. Amsu. The conversation today is endometriosis, and we've been talking about the symptoms, the causes and effects of endometriosis, the sufferers, the millions. I mean, it's literally millions of women who are suffering from the various forms of endometriosis, but they're not having the conversation. Now, we at Electric Food, electricDocs, I know, developing remedies for this. Right. So we've talked about some of the remedies that the traditional doctors would give you, allopathic medicine, which go from
allopathic medicine, surgery,
pharmaceutical drugs, all the way to
birth control pill.
Right. But what are the alternatives? What are the remedies that we would prescribe for endometriosis?
Well, we've been developing, over the last 15 years, we've been developing what we call the HerElimination Kit, which is a protocol which is basically supplements.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All natural supplements, where we found what inhibits estrogen, what inhibits inflammation, and helps with fertility. So we've got the HerElimination Kit, and we also have a very powerful book, the actual system to get over female reproductive disorders, which is called Got Fibroids, the Fibroid Elimination Bible.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why we called it Got Fibroids is because the number one female reproductive issue, especially with black women, is fibroids.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
So that was our flagship of the reproductive issues, but it also encompasses endometriosis, PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, infertility, yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis, cysts, ovarian cysts. So, endometriosis and adenomyosis is also involved in that. And adenomyosis is the local form of endometriosis,
right,
where there's inflammation in the lining of the endometrium,
right,
of the endometrius. So it's local, it doesn't deposit outside of the endometrium.
Yeah. So we've talked on previous videos about lifestyle, about food, about the environmental precursors, I guess, and 2, endometriosis, and a lot of the female reproductive health issues, all leading to estrogen dominance for the most part. But, you know, talking about our remedies, all right, about the electric food and the Got Fibers Fiber Elimination Bible, and there's a Fiber Elimination Kit, the HerElimination Kit.
Yeah, HerElimination Kit.
What would someone expect to encounter if they choose to embark upon our remedy? What would they be doing? I know there's supplementation.
All right, so the supplementation is also a dietary lifestyle change.
Yes. Right,
where you cut out meat, you cut out dairy, you cut out even plant-based foods that are adverse, because nobody escapes when it comes to adverse effects. So even plant-based foods that people believe, like soy, edamame, is one of those foods that people think, I've given up meat, I'm eating clean, I'm eating healthy now. Yeah. No, it's terrible.
It's very widely available, very cheap.
So we have meal plans. We let you know what you need to cut out of your diet. We have a list of don'ts, what you don't do. There's also how you prepare your food, which, you know, sometimes people prepare food in a certain way, like frying kills all the nutrients. Right. So we want you to keep your nutrients in what you're eating. So it's how you prepare your food, what you're eating. It's not just about staying away from meat and dairy. It's also eating the correct plant-based foods too. So that's why we don't like the term vegan. Right. We prefer electric. Right. Because electric is about what's best for your cells, how your cells will thrive and be vibrant and electric. You know. Then we have a system of exercising, qigong, specifically for the reproductive system.
And that's a system of movement, right?
It's
about moving the organs, the vital organs.
It's basically moving energy and opening up blocked meridian, what we call meridian pathways, which is electrical flow.
Now, a lot of people have issues with things like that, right? You know, I guess a lot of us, I'll say, you know, we've all been brought up the same way, probably, used to traditional medicine, traditional ideas about medicine and health and the body, that when you introduce things like yoga and qigong, they get turned off by that because it's got this sort of mystic, I don't know, almost taboo type connotations to it, right? But
because basically,
how do we dispel some of that? Yeah.
The reason why, so when you're at school and you're doing your studies, you have PT or PE, depending on where you are, which side of the pond you're on, right? Which is physical education. It was a must, it's a need, because you need to move. Movement is needed. Mm-hmm. Mobility is part of our 3 systems for the body: mobility, stability, and flexibility, right? And martial arts wasn't about kicking somebody's head off, right? So kick off head or whatever.
Screaming funny noises and stuff.
It's about movement and energy and aligning your organs, your spine correctly aligned, so you have a good posture. Yeah. And
I'm slouching now myself, actually. Yeah.
Stance meaning stability, and then flexibility is, you know, how well your muscles, how, you know, supple your muscles are. Yep. You know, so strength and suppleness, right? And so on, yeah. You know, so qigong is the choice for this system because it's so effective.
Yes,
and it's more breathing than holding a position for too long. It's movement, right? And movement is key because we have a lymphatic system, and unlike the circulatory system, the lymphatic system needs to be moved. The heart pumps blood, so you can be laying still and blood is being pumped all around your body. With your lymphatic system, and remember your lymphatic system,
I was going to ask you to break that
is
down.
Used to clean cells. It's your drainage system. It's your cleaning and drainage system. How you get rid of toxins out of the body, right? When we sweat, that's our lymphatic system throwing, you know, getting rid of
expelling toxins from the blood in the body. Yeah.
So we have cellular respiration where toxins are removed from cells and nutrients are put in. When toxins are removed, they go into the lymphatic system. But the lymphatic system has to be moved. You've got to move it. Right. Else it's just going to stay stagnant. And just like if you go to a lake, which is still, you know, you got streams, then you got lakes.
Right.
Streams are always clear, always good water. Yeah. Right. in lakes, that's where you'll have
fungi, bad fungi,
right,
and
bacteria and whatnot, and smells.
Catfish.
And, right, catfish. Yeah.
But literally, so listen, so we've got the supplements, and we'll talk a little about that in a second. In fact, let's talk about the supplements, right? So we've got the movement, we've got the meal plans. I think, people should be getting this. You've got to change your nutrition, your habits, the way you cook your food. You want more of the nutrients out of your food, the nutrient-rich stuff to get into your cells. The supplements, why the supplements, and what are the supplements?
Okay, so there are 3 main supplements, depending on how many, how badly affected somebody is, what stage they're at or whatever, right? So we have Essence, which is the main supplement. It's an estrogen inhibitor, and aromatase. A little about aromatase. Aromatase is an enzyme that converts androgen or androsteroids, right, into estradiol, or into a form of estrogen, right? Lack of a better term. So we need to inhibit, when we're dealing with an estrogen dominant situation, we have to inhibit the amount of estrogen that's being produced, and also inhibit the effects of estrogen that's coming into the body. Right. So there's the xenoestrogens, which is coming from the outside, but there's also the estrogen that's produced in the body. So there are estrogens that are produced in fat. So where somebody's overweight and has fat, estrogen is being produced there. So the whole point of this regimen or of Essence is to inhibit fat production, inhibit estrogen production, and to inhibit the effects or the enzyme called aromatase.
Now, very quickly, so a lot of people out there now, there's a huge paradigm shift towards, nutrition. People starting to learn more, start to read more. And there's some people that believe that, you don't need the supplements, right? You can get it from your food. What's the truth to that? Why would you be better taking the supplements? We know that, there are some foods that, I guess, contain some of the ingredients we're talking about, but not all the foods, right? Why do you need the supplements, and why can you not just rely on just going electric diet?
A lot of foods that are required to do the job, for instance, they're not found in everyday foods.
Right.
If you pop to your local grocery store and you're buying produce, you're limited, very limited, and then there's limitations with whether it's organic or if it's wild. So you're dealing with foods that may contain estrogenic pesticides.
Wow.
Right? So the need for supplementation is to make sure, and this is where the nutrient therapy comes in, to ensure that you're receiving or ingesting or taking the necessary nutrients that the body needs to function correctly.
Right, and to heal itself, right?
Right.
And so the supplements work hand in hand with the food. It's,
right. So Essence is our fertility supplement. We call it fertility because it makes sure the reproductive system is operating optimally.
Right.
It's going to provide all the nutrients needed. Then we have Liver RX. Your liver does
the master organ, isn't it?
The master organ.
Yeah.
Not only does it filter out toxins, it's the metabolism organ. It's responsible for metabolizing and producing all steroids, all most of the chemicals that your body needs. Vitamin D, everything that your body needs. Cholesterol, that is what your brain swims in, is produced in the liver. So the liver is a master organ. So when your liver is dysfunctional, everything falls apart. So Liver RX is to make sure the liver is free of pathogens, microbes, that is working optimally. So it helps to regenerate liver, gets rid of the fat around the liver. Fatty liver is a major issue. Right. Then we have Blood RX. Blood RX, again, is make sure that healthy blood cells are being produced. Your blood is responsible for carrying all forms of nutrients around the body. Your blood vessels are basically like train tracks, and your blood are the carriages that carry cargo.
Right.
And the cargo is the nutrients.
Yes.
Steroids, anything it even carries toxins, but it's that system. So we make sure we get rid of the toxins and ensure that pure nutrients
Move
and
efficiently
oxygen,
around the body,
you know, all the minerals that the body needs, elements and minerals, iron, calcium, all through the bloodstream.
Yeah. So it's a very, very comprehensive set of tinctures there, supplements along with the food and the diet. So, you know, again, so we have the supplements, awesome. We have the movement, we have the meal plans and nutrition. What sort of results are people likely to get, and what sort of results have we been getting from women, especially
the immediate results that, you know, 95% of women who are on HerElimination Kit, within their first 1 or 2 cycles, the pain drops.
That's critical.
So many women who have had, you know, period pains their whole life, first thing they say, I didn't have any cramps. Those cramps. Either they've gone down, like, was at a 10, it's gone down to a 4 or a 3, or it's gone, nothing.
That's something to celebrate right there.
Right.
If for nothing else, but we know there's more, right? But yeah.
Women who have been bleeding heavily,
Yep.
down to a day, 2 days of light bleeding. Some women are spotting. Some women end up spotting. You know, we've had women who bleed like 20 days out of the month with 8 days where they ain't bleeding. Then it's another 20 days.
And you know,
of bleeding.
Just very quick segue, and some of the side effects of that as well. We talked about the iron deficiency,
right?
You know, because they're literally hemorrhaging,
right,
every day of the every day, you know,
right. So the iron deficiency, that's where we have, we have HerElimination Kit Plus, where there's a lot of inflammation, where there's, depending on what stage of endometriosis or how many fibroids or how many cysts. So we have this supplement called Eliminate, which dissolves tumors, which dissolves cysts, which helps to get rid of lesions and adhesions and implants that are around the body. And then we have anemia, which is for if you're suffering from anemia. Yeah. Iron deficient anemia, where it's worked wonders. Women who are down to some women down to 6 or 7, their hemoglobin levels are down to 6 and 7. We've gotten them back up to 11.
Look at that. So listen, electricDocs TV, you're watching the breakdown. The conversation is endometriosis. I'm here with Dr. Amsu. Wonderful conversation. Again, we want to extend this conversation. We want everyone talking about this. Follow the electricDocs on Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, send us some comments. Leave a comment. Drop us an email. helpme@theelectricdocs.com. Dr. Amsu, so tell us, who should be considering the HerElimination Kit and, you know, switching or trying the more nutritional, naturopathic, if I can use that word for a second, method for eradicating female reproductive health issues?
If you're suffering from fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS, ovarian cysts, if you suffer from infertility, adenomyosis, any reproductive issue that you have, you need HerElimination Kit. It's for you.
Excellent. And so listen, again, electricDocs TV, it's the breakdown. Now, I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do this, guys. I just have to. You probably won't see this, but we want you to go to the website, Electric Food. That's electric, PHOOD, Electric Food. Now, if you just go to electricdocs.com, theelectricdocs.com, that's fine too, because from there you see our link tree and you'll get to all of our little pages from there. But I want to show you something that, we've not talked about a lot, and, I hate to do the shameless plug, but we've got to do it. This is the Got Fibroids, the Fibroid Elimination Bible. Now, as Dr. Amsu broke down earlier on, the reason it's called that because at the time we wrote this book, and still now, fibroids was and still is the leading female reproductive health issue affecting especially Black and African American women, and there are a number of reasons why. And we're going to come back, I guess we've got another couple of shows we're going to do. We're talking about the Black diet, okay, and how that leads to things like, how that exacerbates conditions like the female reproductive health issues that we've been talking about, the estrogen dominance, and how introducing estrogen-rich products and foods and environmental factors into the bloodstream exacerbates, again, these conditions. So listen, if you don't want to try the products yet, you just want to learn some information, this is the book you need. It's available on Amazon. It's Got Fibroids, the Fibroid Elimination Bible, authored by Dr. Amsu and Dr. Amon of the electricDocs. So, I don't know if it's going to stand there, but listen, if you go onto the website, www.theelectricdocs.com, you'll get links to this and all of the other wonderful tinctures and programs and products and kits that we have. And we've seen great testimonials. You'll see testimonials on the website as well for people who've had, they've seen real change, real success. And if you watch The Breakfast Club at all, we've been on there several times with some of our testimonials as well. So we're not just blowing smoke up anyone's proverbial. This is real stuff. You know, these are real conversations, these are real conditions that we want to talk about. So listen, just leaves me to say thanks to Dr. Amsu for this particular segment. Dr. Amsu, thank you.
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
having you. We're going to be doing a lot more. And listen, again, if you just plugged in, it's The Breakdown on electricDocs TV. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, electricDocs on IG. If you're watching this, you're probably watching it on the YouTube channel. So it's YouTube/electricDocs TV. And of course, you want to go straight and find out about the products of the books, go to www.electricfood.com. And that's food spelled with a PH. So listen, from me at Mr. Breaks and Dr. Amsu, listen, appreciate you guys. Take charge of your lives. It's The Breakdown.